Was made. I'm like, bro, it's cool. I can't do nothing now. Like, y'all dated, took pictures, and went back on. It was weird, but it was like.
I mean, it was real. This girl was invested.
I guess you just gotta.
Honestly, I'm mad. I might even be happy. But damn, another one of that. I'll be mad because I'm trying.
Stop scrolling. You won't believe what just came out about Iman Shumpert, Aaron Pierre, and Teyana Taylor. A private tension that had been simmering behind closed doors has finally exploded into the public eye, and the truth? It's shocking, emotional, and messy in ways no one expected. This isn't just gossip. This is a story of betrayal, heartbreak, and choices that could change everything for everyone involved. It all began quietly. For weeks, friends close to the trio had noticed small but telling shifts in behavior. Aaron Pierre, known for his charm and patience, had been spending more and more time with Teyana. At first, it was innocent late-night dinners, social media interactions that seemed casual, but the deeper it went, the more tense the air became whenever Iman Shumpert was present. Those close to Teyana noticed that she was trying to manage both men, attempting to protect her family, her heart, and the delicate balance that had existed for years. But emotions, when pushed too far, have a way of breaking through. Iman, for his part, had been struggling silently. He had watched Aaron's interactions with Teyana, noting the subtle touches, the late-night laughs, and the smiles that excluded him. He had initially tried to suppress his feelings, rationalizing that he might be overreacting. But the evidence kept piling up. Screenshots, late-night messages, and offhand comments were stacking like bricks in a wall, building tension that was impossible to ignore. The breaking point came earlier this week when Aaron was spotted arriving at Teyana's townhouse. On the surface, it looked like a routine visit, something normal. But sources say that behind the casual veneer, tensions had reached a boiling point. Iman had learned that Aaron had sent texts that were far too personal, messages that crossed boundaries he never thought would be challenged. When Iman arrived to speak to Teyana that day, he found Aaron already inside, laughing in a way that cut through him like a knife. Iman confronted Aaron immediately. What started as a quiet, controlled conversation escalated quickly. Aaron tried to defend himself, insisting that everything he had done was innocent, that he had only wanted to support Teyana and her daughter. But Iman wasn't convinced. "Innocent?" he asked, voice low but trembling with emotion. "You think late-night messages and secret jokes are innocent? Do you even understand what you've done?" His words were heavy, cutting through the room with the weight of weeks of suppressed anger. Teyana, caught in the middle, tried to intervene. "Stop, both of you," she pleaded, her voice firm but quivering. This isn't helping anyone. But neither man would back down. Aaron's defensiveness met Iman's pain, and suddenly, the room felt like a storm about to break. Friends later described seeing Iman's face, usually calm and composed, twisted with betrayal and heartbreak. He had reached the edge of his patience, and nothing could pull him back. Aaron, realizing he was cornered, tried to explain. "Iman, I swear I never meant," he began, but Iman cut him off, his voice rising. "Swear all you want. It doesn't change the fact that you've been crossing lines for weeks. Lines that shouldn't be crossed, not with me, not with her, not in this family." The intensity of Iman's emotion was shocking. His fists clenched, his jaw tight, and his eyes shimmered with unshed tears. This wasn't just anger, it was heartbreak. The kind that comes from seeing trust fractured in front of your eyes. Meanwhile, Teyana's daughter, who had been quietly observing, froze. She had sensed tension before, But this was different. Her mother, normally so composed, was fighting to maintain control over a situation that seemed to have no control left. She wrapped an arm around her daughter, whispering reassurances, though even she struggled to find the words. The storm around them was palpable, and everyone in the room could feel it. Aaron's expression shifted from defensiveness to alarm. He had underestimated the depth of Iman's feelings, the level of pain that had been quietly growing inside him. "I didn't realize," Aaron began, but he couldn't finish. Iman's next words cut through everything. "Didn't realize? Didn't realize what, Aaron? That you've been slowly taking over everything that I hold dear? That my trust, my peace, my family, my home, everything is slipping through my fingers while you stand there smiling like it's nothing?" The room went silent for a heartbeat, the tension so thick it could be cut with a knife. Even Teyana, trying desperately to mediate, felt powerless against the raw surge of emotion between the two men. For a brief moment, both men paused, breathing heavily. Friends later described it as the calm before a greater storm. But then Iman, unable to hold back any longer, stepped closer, his voice shaking but fierce. "You think I'm blind, Aaron. You think I don't see the late-night messages, the secret jokes, the way you look at her when you think no one's watching? I see it all, and I can't take it anymore." The words were like fire, igniting a storm that neither man could control. Teyana tried again to intervene. "Please, we need to calm down," she said, her hands raised. But Iman's emotions had taken over completely.
"No, Teyana. This isn't just about me.
This is about respect, boundaries, and loyalty. Things that mean nothing to him, apparently. Aaron, feeling attacked and cornered, raised his hands in defense. "Iman, I never wanted this to happen," he said, but his voice was drowned out by the intensity of the moment. The argument spilled out of the townhouse and into the courtyard. Neighbors later reported seeing both men pacing, gesturing wildly, and shouting in ways that made the situation feel larger than life. Passers-by captured video clips that would soon go viral, showing the raw, unfiltered confrontation. Fans immediately began analyzing every word, every glance, every micro-expression. The debate online exploded within hours, dividing fans into camps. Some supported Iman, praising his honesty and courage. Others defended Aaron, insisting he had acted with good intentions, and many were just stunned by the emotional intensity. Inside, Teyana was overwhelmed. She had never anticipated the level of public scrutiny, nor the speed with which private matters would become viral. She knew that social media would dissect everything, that every word and gesture would be analyzed, and that her family's privacy was already under siege. "This is too much," she whispered to a friend later, tears brimming in her eyes. "I just wanted to protect them, all of them." Aaron retreated into a corner, his hands covering his face. He hadn't expected the confrontation to reach such emotional intensity. Friends later revealed that he had tried to remain neutral, thinking he could avoid conflict, but every action he had taken had been misinterpreted, or perhaps seen in its full, unintended impact. His regret was visible, his anxiety palpable. He realized that intentions alone weren't enough to repair the damage. Meanwhile, Iman's silence became as loud as his words. He didn't post, didn't comment publicly, but his presence spoke volumes. Social media users dissected every post, every story, searching for hidden messages. Every glance at Teyana, every sigh, every subtle reaction was parsed, analyzed, and discussed. Iman's approach wasn't to escalate the drama further, it was to let the truth speak for itself, and in doing so, he became the focal point of an internet storm that seemed unstoppable. By the evening, the emotional impact had spread beyond the three individuals directly involved. Friends and family were pulled into the tension, forced to mediate, console, and cope with the fallout. Conversations that were once casual became intense, charged with emotion and high stakes. Every interaction, every comment, every gesture carried weight. Public reaction was swift and intense. Fans on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok weighed in, sharing opinions, speculating on future developments, and dissecting every detail. Some sympathized with Iman's emotional honesty, praising him for setting boundaries and expressing feelings many would have suppressed. Others criticized Aaron, questioning why he didn't consider the consequences of his actions. Teyana, as always, received both support and criticism, caught in the middle of a narrative she had hoped to manage quietly and privately. By the next morning, the aftermath was clear.